All right. We're in the Studio C here at Soul Winners Inc. Studios, and we're with my young brother in Christ, Seth Witcher. He's here. He's going to bless us with an interview, and his name is buzzing all over the Lehigh Valley and beyond. Social media will put you beyond the Lehigh Valley anyway.
Yeah.
And videos are coming up. He's doing spots all over Lehigh Valley and beyond. And talent show is coming up. I'll tell you about that in the next segment. But Seth, man, what's up, man? Thank you for coming down to Soul Winners Inc. sELAH Radio Network, man. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, you know, the name is buzzing, but my listeners and viewers probably haven't heard a lot about you, but they're going to hear a lot about you now.
Yes, sir.
So who's Seth?
So,
a.k.a. Chosen.
Yeah, that's my stage name, Chosen. You know, I'm just a 19-year-old college student. I go to Lehigh University.
And there's a story behind that. How you got into Lehigh University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You want to talk about it now, or you want to talk about the music first?
Sure. I mean, I can, you know, do you want some background? I can give you some background first.
Yeah, give me some background of how this all came out.
So, you know, I'm just a 19-year-old student, like I said before. But I started music when I was 6 years old. Really, that's when I really started playing guitar. My mom said that I was, you know, singing in the church choir at my church when I was younger. She said I could never get like too much of the stage. Like I was always trying to get on there, always trying to grab the mic, sing in front of, you know, people. I don't remember that, but she says that was me.
She's an eyewitness. She was there.
yeah. So really, the story behind me is that I just sing and I play and you know. Sometimes, or what I did is I let you know, criticisms get me down, so I stopped playing.
So you mean the people like heard you and they were like, you know, he's not so good, or he's not as good as he thinks he is, that kind of criticism, stuff like that. How did that make you feel, especially at a young age, man? That must have been, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've had criticism when I was young, and I've had criticism when I'm older,
right? Obviously,
but I mean, because you get it, you know, it's something that happens. But when I was younger, you know, it devastated me really, because I was just trying to have fun, and then when you're trying to have fun with something, and sometimes people, they just say something, and all of a sudden it takes the fun out of it, and you're just thinking like, oh, how do I not do that?
Right.
And so I just stopped totally. I stopped playing music, stopped singing. You can ask my parents, you know my parents. You can ask my friends. You couldn't get me to sing in front of anybody.
Wow.
Until my junior year of high school. Junior and senior year of high school. Yeah.
And what high school was that?
Parkland High School.
Parkland High School. Yeah, shout out to Parkland High School.
But before then, I was actually homeschooled. So, you know, I spent a lot of time with my family and at home. And I had a lot of alone time, so I was practicing guitar and stuff. But I never wanted to do it in front of people.
So guitar is your first instrument or your second instrument?
It's my second instrument. My first instrument was piano, and I played around with that a little bit. I just didn't really get too much into it. My sister, on the other hand, Brittany Witcher, she...
shout out to Brittany.
Yeah, shout out. She's like a piano instructor at, what do you call it, West End Music.
Nice.
So she teaches there sometimes, but she's stuck with the piano. Okay. And so it's kind of like we're opposites. Like I play guitar, a little tiny bit of piano.
Yeah.
She plays piano and a little tiny bit of guitar. Okay. But we both sing a little bit.
That's good. That's good. Well, in the singing side, so all the, you know, the criticism, you probably got discouraged, man. Like you said, you stopped, and that's a lot of discouragement to actually stop something that you believe, right? You kind of believe like you could do this, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it stopped me from believing. I wanted nothing to do with music, like singing. I would. You can, if you know anybody, or if anybody from Parkland High School sees me, you would remember me as the guy who played guitar in the hallway. That's what I would do. I just play guitar in the hallway, and like I'd want to sing.
Yeah.
You know, I even did like a coffee house at the high school in the morning, and I would play, but I wanted to sing, but because of that discouragement, because I was told before, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna sing.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So now you're what, 19 years old now?
Yeah, sir.
And tell me what happened at Parkland in your junior year?
Junior year. Yeah. So basically, there's a talent show called Mr. Parkland, and you know, I joked around with my friends like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna be in Mr. Parkland because why not? You know, I love being in front of people. I love talking to people, presenting. That's just me. You know. I'm a people person.
That's right.
Like, I was that dude who'd walk around in school and I'd sell chocolates to everybody. Like, I'd walk around with a box of chocolates every day and just sell it to everybody, random people. And I made money too. Seriously. Hey. Don't tell anybody.
Chocolate.
But I did.
Chocolate's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. But, you know, so I joked about going to the talent show, and I didn't actually realize that I was actually going to do it. And then, you know, once the talent show started coming up, I started writing music, and I started realizing like I could actually do this.
Yeah.
And so I auditioned. I remember the first day I auditioned. I stayed after school. I carried my guitar with me, and I was shaking. Like, you know, I was nervous. I was shaking, but I remember. What I always do before I do anything, I always pray. I always, you know, ask God just to be with me, sing through me, you know, let's get it, let's do it. Because God's my friend, right? God's in me, God's with me, and we do things together.
But
so
do you put that in the front? Because that way, I think that would get you even more criticism. If you would put like, I'm a Christian and I'm going to sing. Or you just low-key just pray and then go in there and present.
Well, I think about it like this. In the Bible, Jesus talks about the Pharisees and how you shouldn't be like praying in front of everybody.
Like this.
Saying like, look at what I'm doing.
I'm the man.
I'm praying. You know, this is me.
Yeah.
I think of it like that. I don't go up to random people and say, yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm going to sing for you. I just sing and I let my music and my voice speak for itself. If people want to know that, you know, they ask me,
and it
then
ministers.
I've got no problem.
It actually ministers. And that could, we could go into, okay, so then you got past the audition. Obviously, you got into the talent show. How did that make you feel?
Yes, sir. Well, I got past the audition and I felt like I was walking on air. Because like all the popular kids who tried to get in, you know, they actually didn't make it.
Really?
And I was that kid who was like, people knew me, you know. But I wasn't like that dude that, you know, all the girls are going to and everything. Because I was kind of weird, I guess. I don't know.
He was a misfit. That's what it is.
It's because like, you know, I didn't do what all the other kids were doing. You know, I wasn't like drinking. I wasn't doing drugs.
Welcome to the misfits.
Yeah.
Social club.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of messed up. You know how you don't fit in when you don't do the bad things like that.
Absolutely.
It's very interesting.
It's one of those type of things, and that we go through in life as believers. But that's cool. So you prayed, you went, you auditioned, got past the audition. Now let's fast forward to Parkland, Mr. Parkland. What happened there? How'd you feel when you were up there? Because I was in the crowd. That place was like 1,200 people.
Yeah, 1,200 people.
It was packed, man, and there was some kind of like energy. Like it was good energy in the building. And then you went up there. Of course, you had your posse of people like, oh, go. You know what I mean? We were all for it. We were probably real loud in there, but it looked really good. How'd you feel?
Well, you know, before the performance, I got my friends together, and you know, not all my friends were Christians, but you know, we still prayed. You know, we prayed, and then we're like, you know, God, let's get it, because I was scared out of my mind. But I told myself, I took that fear and I turned it into a medium to push me higher, because you know, if you let yourself give in to fear, then you won't succeed to where you want to go.
What'll happen is what happened to you when you were younger. You'll completely stop.
Yeah.
And you'll freeze. And that'll be like the worst time to freeze, when you're up in front of the people to present, where you know you're good because you already passed the audition, you're in. So imagine if fear would have overtook you. If fear would have overtook you then, it would have been a long night for you, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that happened to some kids there too, actually, and it was kind of embarrassing a little bit. But I was happy. You know, I was happy I wasn't one of those kids. So basically, you know, I sang, I played my song. I played a song that I wrote. You know, everybody loved it. You know, after I was done singing, people in the back, they were humming my song, which is great.
Wow, that's great.
I didn't win. You know, people said I should have won. So that's all I needed. And on top of that, I did what people said I couldn't do. And after I did that, you know, then I started writing more. I started wanting to, you know, sing in front of people more.
That's great.
And perform more. And I mean, performing, that happened more, you know, later, like actually like 2 months ago.
Hey.
Like I've been exploding.
Like, I know. Every time I look on social media, I say, I'll be here. Come on. I'll be like, no, that's great. Now, you know, that's all it takes, really. Sometimes it's word of mouth. And they'll see, like a producer or a club promoter or a business owner will see you somewhere in a venue and say, hey, bing, I could get him to my venue. And then from there, get ready. It doesn't stop, really, because once you get that good rapport amongst the people, amongst the community, then they're going to want you to perform everywhere.
Yeah, it becomes like residual.
Now, the type of songs you write, because I know I heard the love songs that you wrote.
Yes, sir.
Some of the love songs. Why do you write those type of songs? Why, and you know, what type of songs do you write usually?
So I'm a Christian, right? But I don't want to be under that label of, you know, Christian artist, Christian music.
Yeah, and a lot of artists that I've seen in interviews, they're saying the same thing. They're Christian, they're believers, born again, Holy Ghost filled, but they're saying the same thing. And I think, I'm looking at it, I've been in the business music industry for many years, and I know the ins and outs of it. I know what they're saying. So you're saying, you're a believer. I know you're a Christian. I know your family. I know you. But imagine going into anywhere and saying, I'm a Christian and I'm going to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to get a lot more like, whoa, you know, what am I going to get preached at? Or, you know, so whatever people think a Christian is,
Yeah.
they're going to label you to that.
Mm-hmm.
So whether, they, you know, they used to call me a hallelujah brother, you know what I mean? You know, but imagine if I went everywhere and say, I'm a DJ, but I'm a Christian DJ, even though my tag is the Christian DJ difference, but that's a business thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, imagine going to a venue and saying, I'm a Christian DJ, and then I start playing non-Christian music. You know, it won't make any sense to them.
Yeah.
So it makes sense what you're saying, you know, that now I'm listening to out loud of why you don't want to be labeled a Christian artist. You're just an artist that happens to be a Christian. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I want my music just to speak for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, God's with me wherever I go, wherever I sing. And he's the one who's given me this gift, and it's funny, you know, God has a sense of humor. I didn't want to do this. Now it's like what I want to do.
And
it's
people
like,
are calling you out to do it, which is great.
Basically. And so the reason why I write these, you know, well, you asked me what kind of music I write and everything. So I like to write music that relates to people can relate to. You know, it's easy to write about love songs or sad things. I write about those too. But, you know, I try to write about happy things too. Just emotions that I feel in my everyday life with things that go on.
Right.
And, you know, I just kind of put a twist on it. Like
you was telling me before that happy music is harder to write than sad music. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that? Like,
well, just because, so I don't know if you've experienced this in your life. I'm pretty sure you have. A lot of, you know, in our lives, we don't remember the happy things as easily as the bad things that happen to us.
Interesting.
So like if someone cuts you off, you know, on the road, you're gonna remember that easier than, I don't know,
people letting you go through.
Yeah, basically, right? That's so cool. That, I think that's the whole rationale behind it, and people, they can understand that, you know.
Wow, that's great. So you write these songs, do they just come to you like? Because me, I get writer's block. You know, I do a little rap every now and then, and sometimes I'll get writer's block. But with me, once I get writer's block, I take it. I kind of over spiritualize it, I think, because I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. I said, well, God doesn't want me to write anymore. You ever get any writer's block anytime like that? Or right now you're flowing that? Because there's sometimes in an artist's life that you just flow, man. Everything is coming out. You know what you feel is coming right on paper. You're writing it. The music is coming to you because you write your music too as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So where are you at right now? Like writer's block, or you're at like flowing right now?
So the way I see it, God gave me this gift. So, you know, it's not me doing it. I don't put the pressure on myself. God gave it to me. So when I get myself out of the picture and, you know, I just kind of just relax in what I'm doing, I found that's like the number one thing I could do in my life with anything. Just relax, calm down, you know, just give it to God. You know, and I'm not saying like if you're dealing with something emotionally, you don't write about it. No, write about it. Write about whatever comes to your mind. You know, do whatever, but you know, just give God that burden of the anxiety and all that kind of stuff.
So how would they know? Say you at a venue and then you do your set, coming off, you're breaking down, taking the guitar back. Has it ever come up so far, like at your venues, to say, hey, there's something, you know, about that song? Are you a Christian? Or it's not like that kind of conversation. Have you ever got that yet?
Nobody's asked me if I was a Christian.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't curse in my music. I don't do anything like that. You know, but I just honestly sing about what's on my heart and what's going on.
And in between your sets, do you actually explain the songs or whatever?
Usually no, because I perform. My mom doesn't really like it, but I perform at like bars and restaurants and anywhere that likes live music, you know. So actually, we can segue into my first gig at you know, a pretty popular bar where I live, and I just remember thinking, go to that bar and talk to the manager. Excuse me? I don't do that, right? Like, I don't go to random places.
Say, wait a minute. Going there?
Yeah, I don't do that, you know? But I just felt prompted to do that. Yes. So I went and I walked in the bar. It was seriously just like a bar that you see in a movie. Like, you could smoke in there, right? It was like all musty. Yeah. You know, you had like the truck drivers in there. Nothing wrong with truck drivers. It was great, right? It was great.
The atmosphere was a little bit, you know, different.
It was, yeah. And, you know, and I talked to the manager and she was like, yeah, come back 7 a.m. and bring your guitar and we'll figure something out.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, wow, this is great. And, you know, I was really excited. I remember driving home from there and I was just screaming in my car. I was like, thank you, Jesus, right? And the next morning I went to the bar and there were still people drinking at 7 a.m. It was kind of funny.
Oh, it was one of those.
And,
Okay, yeah. I heard about those.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I played one of the songs I wrote for them. And everybody loved it. And they were like, wow, like, we want you here. And I, like, just that for me, because, you know, not a lot of people understand that, you know, when you have that discouraging side, you know, that side that you've heard, you know, from family, friends, you can't do this.
Right.
And then you have people saying, I'm going to pay you for this. Like,
then you're like, wait, let me wait this.
It's like, I can really do what I want to do. And I know it sounds kind of cliche, right? Because a lot of people do it, but not a lot of people, like, not a lot of people say it, not a lot of people do it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, like, I'm doing it.
That's good.
And it's really, it's a blessing. So I went and, you know, I was singing for 3 hours straight.
3 hours?
3 hours
So
straight.
you have that much material? I didn't know you had that much material to sing.
Well, see,
you do cover songs and stuff like that?
I do, of course. I do mostly covers, because that's what people remember. You know, that's what they hear on the radio. And then I slip my own music in there sometimes too.
Okay.
It was like a Christmas party. Like it was a Christmas kind of thing. So this by the way, this happened maybe like 3 months ago.
Wow.
My first gig. And now I'm on like gig 7, 8, 9 and
without a manager.
Look
at that.
I'm my own manager.
So if managers are watching, you know, you might want to check them out.
Well, I mean, you know. So, you know, I'm just thanking God for it. And I sang 3 straight hours, and I didn't realize that you could take breaks. So I was doing. And by the way, I actually that morning. So every time, or almost every time I've had a gig, I feel like Satan tries to come at me and tries to stop me from doing my thing. So
it's part of the deal, as a Christian.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I know who I have inside of me. I know what I have. So I know that the devil can't touch me, right?
Right.
So that morning. So I was going to be performing at, I think it was from 1 to 4.
Okay.
So that morning, you know, I was getting all my material ready, and I lost my voice. I lost my voice. Yeah, I did.
Same day.
That voice, I lost my voice. I woke up and, you know, I was playing my guitar. I started singing. I couldn't sing. I lost my voice. You couldn't. All I hear was. You didn't hear anything. And I was like, Satan's trying to come at me right now. And I was like, all right. So I believe, you know, Jesus says in the Bible that, you know, what you see me do, you'll do in greater. He says that. So I believe that. I take it literally. So he commands demons to come out. He commands people to be healed. I command myself to be healed. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
So I command myself to be healed. I commanded my throat just to be totally fine. I command myself to sing, right? And then, you know, that whole hour I was just like coughing stuff up, trying to get everything out, and I could sing.
Wow.
And I could hit those notes. I could hit the high notes. And and I sang for 3 hours straight, and my throat was fine. And after that after that I didn't lose my voice, but I felt it coming back again. But the thing is, I sang for 3 hours when in the morning I couldn't talk. You didn't even hear me.
Now, I know someone, my wife, for instance, that happened to her several times right before she had to minister, right before she had to do a performance or her spot, that she had no voice. And she would declare healing over her voice and everything. And she would actually sing. And I'm looking at her like, 5 minutes ago, you didn't have a voice, because I'm going to agree with her. Yeah. It's my wife, so you go right ahead. And as soon as she opened her mouth, her voice would come back. So that's what I mean. I can testify that I've seen it. I'm an eyewitness to something like that.
Yeah, Jesus
Things
is
that
real.
happen. Jesus is real.
Yeah.
So before you get into the segment, of course, we're going to bring out the guitar. He's going to sing for us. Where you been? Where you been at? Where you been? What's the venues you've been? Where did you hit so far? You know.
So do you want the list?
Whoa.
I got a list.
You got a list. Just the areas, I guess.
Okay.
If you can remember the areas. Or you can shout out the venues.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not going to sponsor the show. I mean, they can sponsor the show after you. If you mention the venue, you can sponsor the show. But yeah.
I mean, my first gig was at the Coonsville Hotel. So
nice.
That, you know, it's a bar. After that, I performed at the Fogelsville Hotel.
Nice.
After that, I performed at Where did I perform? I performed at the Makunji Pub.
Makunji Pub.
Yeah, that was on Super Bowl weekend. So
On Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, that was on a Saturday.
Wow.
They were packed and they loved it.
Wait a minute. Usually they get headliners, man. Like during those times. That's the money times.
I mean,
and you got right in there.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not being.
No,
I'm not
listen.
being whatever. I'm just
Super Bowl weekend, and he's in there. And usually they'll bring headliners or whatever. That's good. So he headlined pretty much the venue because that's their big money night. Where else?
Yeah.
Allentown area. How about Bethlehem area?
Bethlehem. Yeah, in Bethlehem I performed at Adagio's recently.
Nice.
Adagio.
Yeah.
Yeah. After Makunji Pub and a bunch of other places, I actually performed at Weiss. Off of Cedar Crest.
Nice.
That was Valentine's Day, and they actually called WFMZ in.
And got some coverage.
And they put me on the news, on the 10 o'clock news.
Connections, man.
Yeah.
You see that? How it happens. That's how it happens.
Yeah, and I had 2 gigs that day, and I don't know. I'm just thanking God because it's funny because I told my friends, I'm gonna be on TV before you because my one friend, he wants to play soccer and he's great, and I'm over here singing and everything, and I made a bet with him like, dude, I'm gonna beat you to the TV. You're gonna hear me on the radio, you're gonna see me on TV, right? And I'm gonna be that dude. And right when I was on TV, like the camera guy came and he like filmed me for like 30 minutes and he left. I called up my friend right away. I'm like, hey man, I was on TV, and he was like, huh?
Check it out.
Yeah,
check that news.
Yeah, and I showed him, and everybody was just like, wow. And now I kind of use that. I show different places I want to perform at, like, hey, I was on the news.
Absolutely.
I kind of use that because it's a big deal. They liked what they heard. Yeah.
And it's social. I was telling you earlier, social proof. I'm like, I was here, I was there. I got people to prove it. And also, I was on the news. I got some coverage. All within 3 months. Yeah. Like this is like type of without management, without an advertising agent or agents to get you booked and all that stuff. This is great. So again, before we even get to the music part, the story of how you got into Lehigh University.
Right.
Yeah, your dad told me something about it, but I don't think I ever sat down with you and asked you, your version of it.
Yeah. So basically, it's a straight up miracle. So Lehigh University, if you don't know. It's a pretty top engineering school in Bethlehem. Their acceptance rate is like 22%, 25%.
Wow.
Somewhere in there. So it's a pretty big deal. And I wanted to go there for robotic engineering. That's a passion of mine as well. Just
artificial intelligence coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now I'm taking my gen eds. I'm still a freshman, but working at it. And so Lehigh had what I wanted. I didn't find any other college, that had what I wanted. And on top of that, it was kind of close by to home.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it just kind of worked out.
But so did you get accepted like out of high school to it?
No.
Or
no.
What happened? No. How did you get it?
So I applied and they actually said I wasn't accepted, but they put me on the waiting list. So if you can imagine, you got a 20% acceptance rate. You are declined that, and then they put you on a waiting list, which they only choose 20 out of 2,000 people.
20 out of 2,000.
20 out of 2,000. Wow. That's like 10%, less than 10. It's really, don't quote me on the math thing. But it's a lot. It's small.
It's small. It's a small chance. A small chance. How about that?
Muy pequeño. So, I was on the waiting list. Yeah. So now, I have a chance, but it's super slim. And at that point, I was like, okay, I give up. It's whatever.
High school's over now. You're looking at colleges.
Yeah, this was in the summer, and they actually said I wasn't accepted into the fall semester. I was accepted into the winter semester.
Okay.
Accepted like on the waiting list.
Okay.
So. But my dad, he looked at Lehigh and he saw that they were doing some college tours. So he was like, let's just go. He's like, and bring your guitar. And me, this is before I start performing or anything. I'm like, Dad, like, you sure you want, like, and he's like, yeah, bring it. I was like, okay, all right, fine, yeah, I'll bring it. So I bring it, and long story short, we go through the whole tour. Everything's great, it's nice. And, we wanted to talk to the people in charge about how they could get me in the school. Yeah. And so, long story short, we actually get me hooked up with one of the advisors, and we sit down and have a meeting with her. And, my dad, he told me to ask a very specific question. because I was actually accepted to all the other colleges I applied for. Temple, Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was accepted to a bunch of other.
But they didn't
ones,
have exactly the fit that you wanted, what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah.
Penn State, all those. So I asked the administrator, why should I come to Lehigh? If I was accepted to every other place, why should I come here? And she said,
you asked her that.
Yes. Yes.
Tables turned.
Yes. and she said, that's a great question. The reason why I should come here is because I've been working with Lehigh for 17 years plus, and out of all this time, I've seen Lehigh just create leaders.
Wow.
So I want to work with a place that is actually doing things, and I'm not really like advertising Lehigh. I'm just being straight up with whatever.
You want to sponsor us, you could too.
So basically, that's what she said. I said, okay, that's great. And I told her a little bit about myself, how I was homeschooled for the primary years.
So you made the transition into
high school. Yeah. And what I did, and I told her how I played guitar and how I wrote my own music, and I told her I wanted to play her song. So I played her one of my songs called "Merry Go Round."
Yeah,
and
I heard that song. Yeah,
you heard it,
and you explained it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played it for her, and she was just like, "Wow, like that sounds amazing," and she knew exactly what I was singing about, because my lyrics are deep sometimes. Yeah. Most of the time, and I want you to really think about. So she knew exactly what I was talking about, which was pretty amazing. And she told me, Seth, you're doing the right thing. If you're accepted, then you'll get a call. The next day, I got a call, and they said,
next day,
yeah, they said, Seth, we want you at Lehigh. We want you here, and it's because of my music, it's because of my gifts. So my uncle, he tells me all the time. He says, Seth, your gift will make room for you. With his gift, he actually got his wife, got his job. He became a Christian because of his gift. All this, like, God gives you your gift, not to
flaunt it or whatever.
Yeah, not to flaunt, but it's to make a way for you.
Yes.
So, because God wants us to be prosperous.
Wow.
Not like showing off in everybody's face, but like prosperous.
Yes.
So be humble about it, but your gift is for you, to survive and to actually bless other people.
I was telling that brief story to the youth, a version that your dad told me, right before I left church today. And she was like, what? I said, yeah, he's in Lehigh University. He sang a song to one of the advisors, and then now he's in Lehigh University. She was looking at me like, what? I gotta meet him. This guy, who is he? You know what I mean? And Seth, this is him, chosen. He's the artist that he says he's a believer, a Christian, but he doesn't want to be thrown in that label because it narrows down the opportunities. I know as a Christian DJ, when it was just DJ SAMROCK, I was getting invited everywhere. But when I put the Christian DJ difference, my kind of rates went down, you know what I mean? But when I play, like I said, I don't play, all gospel all the time. I'll play positive, clean music that doesn't degrade women, no cursing, no swearing, no gang banging and all this other stuff. I don't play that, but I do play music that people, of course, are going to dance to, that they're going to like, and it fits into the category that positive music, where it makes people feel what you're saying, they can understand what you're saying, they could experience, what you're experiencing and what you're delivering to them. Yeah. And I think that's where it's at, especially 19-year-old, going into for your culture and beyond. Because I like your music and I'm way older than you. My wife likes your music,
Thank you.
And we can relate to it. The merry-go-round, that was it, because I was like, that's good. And it's also good for high school age, college age students to listen to those type of songs, because it'll make them realize that, whoa, wait a minute. And it's just an eye opener. It's just something to make you think and ponder about, music. Plus the music is good, the voice is good, the look is good, you know what I mean? So, it's the full package, really, if you think about it.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Any last thing you want to tell the viewers and listeners before we get into the segment when you're, playing your music and stuff like that?
So don't let anybody, bring you down. That's the main thing. That's my main message that I want to get across to everybody, because you really can do whatever you want. You can do whatever, is on your heart to do. Don't let anybody stop you, because most times than not, that's really just Satan having his way and stopping you from using your gift to be successful.
Now, say they're not a believer, they don't really believe in God, Satan, and all this other stuff. What would you tell that teenager or that young adult or that person right now, the adult maybe just watching you right now, what would you tell them? Okay, they're saying basically, I don't believe in none of that stuff, but how did you do it? how would you, I know it's kind of like a hard question, but how would you, besides God, get out of this situation about discouragement? Would it have been possible for you to do it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't like God like pushed me and said sing. It was just like God's helped me,
Okay.
as I'm realizing myself that this is something I want to do.
So pretty much he's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, you could do it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you can, and I mean, cause I mean, how crazy is that? Like, I mean, okay, like I was on the news, and these people didn't even know me, but they heard me sing, and they're like, "Yo, we have a connection with WFMZ here at Weiss. Let me call WFMZ and put you on tonight's special." Like, how crazy is that? Or I walk into a place. I walked in the Carmel. Carmel, it's a winery right across from Dorney Park. And it took me. I had to go back to the restaurant like maybe 3 or 4 times to talk to the manager because he was just too busy. And when I finally sat down and talked to him, he was like, "Yeah, so look, how much of a following do you have?" And I'm just starting out, right? And so I told him, on Instagram I've got like 6,000 followers. He's like, no. How many people come to your gigs because of you? And I was and I was like, I don't know. And he's like, let me put it another way. He said, how many places do you perform weekly at? And at the time, I wasn't really performing weekly anywhere. And he said, see, that's it. That's why I don't want, that's why I would want a live musician. I don't want you here if you aren't going to bring people to me. And I asked him, I was like, okay, well, can I at least sing for you? Can I sing a song? He's like, sure. I sang a song for him. I sang 2. He sat there like this. He's like, wow, so what are you doing next week? and since then, now he wants to be there weekly.
Make a way.
Yeah.
And put you in front of kings.
So seriously, I'm just saying that all to say that I did it myself, but God helped me.
That's right.
Because that's a miracle in my opinion. Just everybody's switching their whole thinking just when they hear me sing. So
it's something that we call it anointing. It's a Christian word. I understand. So if you're not a believer, excuse us for anointing. That's what it is. And also, but the other part of that is that he's telling you that you can do it. He was discouraged. People were making fun of his ability, his talents, or whatever. But when he put it down, something told him, you better pick that guitar back up. You better start singing. You should do this because it's like something in you that's not going to ever go away. Maybe you would have to deal with it maybe when you were in your 20s, your 30s. But I'm thanking God for you because you did it while you was a teenager, knowing that, hey, there's something here and I'm gonna do it.
So this first song I'm going to sing for you guys is Merry-Go-Round, the song that you heard us talking about before previously. So, just listen to it, and I hope you glean something from it. Merry-go-round. I don't know why you never pass it down. You always want to ride on the merry-go-round. Merry goes round, merry goes around. Merry goes round, Mary comes around. She comes my way with a smile, and I pass her down. Others ride her carelessly, but I turn around. She's screaming, make my day. Take one ride on me. She's begging, just one step, and I'll make you free. Usually, it's not enough. You get done with the merry, then you wanna write better stuff. I've heard too many people saying they'd stay on the round. They try other rides, and are nowhere to be found. Merry goes round, merry goes around. Merry goes round, merry comes around. She comes my way with a smile, and I pass her down. Others ride her carelessly, but I turn around. She's pleading, make my day. Take one right on me. She's pleading, just one step, and I'll make you free. Oh, she's begging, make my day. Take one right on me. She's pleading, just one step, and I'll make you free. Trust your life to the merry-go-round. Oh, 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 give your life to the merry-go-round. Oh, 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 trust your life to the merry-go-round. Oh, give your life as Mary comes around. She comes my way with a smile, and I pass her down. Others ride her carelessly, but I turn around. She's pleading, make my day. Take one right on me. She's begging, just one step, and I'll make you free. Trust your life to the merry-go-round. Oh, 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 give your life as merry goes around. So, that was Merry Go Round. That's the song that actually got me into Lehigh University, so, it's a big deal for me. So this next song I'm going to sing for you guys is called Perfectly You. This is one of my newer songs, and I hope you enjoy it. She's in the dark in her bed, just wondering how to make things and make them better and show the whole world she's not pretending. She's not pretending. Look at the fear in her eyes, you can feel it. Yeah, she's just trying to get by, no one's perfect. At least that's what she says as she closes her eyes. She tries to hide the tears she cries. It's not easy living with the lies. You're not perfect, never perfect. Oh, she feels ashamed. Just look in that mirror, she closes her eyes. She closes her eyes. Don't close your eyes. Just be yourself. Nobody can be you so well. You don't gotta wear the nicest dress just to fit someone else's expectation. Just be you. You're perfectly you. You're perfect. She takes a breath and lets it out. She's scheming to move on to better things. She's believing that she can make it if she's perfect like her. She can make it if she's just like her. She tries to hide the tears she cries. It's not easy living with the lies. You're not perfect, never perfect. Oh, feels ashamed. Just look in that mirror, see. She closes her eyes. She closes her eyes. Don't close your eyes. Just be yourself. Nobody can be you so well. You don't gotta wear the nicest dress just to fit someone else's expectation. Just be you. Just be you. You're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfect, you're you. You're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfect, you're you. Just be yourself. Nobody can be you so well. You don't gotta wear the nicest dress just to fit someone else's expectation. Just be you. Just be you. Hey! Just be yourself. Nobody can be you so well. You don't gotta wear the nicest dress just to fit someone else's expectation. Just be you. Just be you. You're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfect, you're you. You're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfectly you. Ooh, you're perfect, you're you. Thank you guys for listening. It means a lot to me. And follow me on Instagram at Seth_Witcher. And I'm going to post all my dates whenever I'm going to be booked at different places. So I'd love to see you there. Have a great day.